and I can adjust that independently of the original. So let's take that image, go to the Develop module, and let's crop it into a vertical, because that's what somebody might have requested. Go to the Crop tool. This image had been cropped previously, so I can expand it out a little bit. Get it into a vertical format. And then I'll go to black and white. Black and white is at the top of the basic panel. After you choose black and white, you can go down to that part called HSL, and now you can control the brightness of those various areas. And if you use that little donut thing, I can say make the blue areas brighter or darker, and make the orangish areas brighter or darker. If I go back to the library, you'll see that now we have two versions of the picture. One's a horizontal, one's a vertical, and the vertical is black and white. What's really nice about a virtual copy is it does not really increase the size of these images on your hard drive. If I were using other software, usually I would end up duplicating the image. Therefore, it's taking up twice as much space. But all Photoshop did is do you remember when we talked about XMP files and that the XMP file would contain your adjustments? It did the equivalent to making two of them. So you have one image and just two little 8K files that have development instructions. But it's not literally two files, they're actually in one. But it's just two sets of adjustments in one file. And so it's all based on the original picture, and I can make as many of those virtual copies as I want. So I can have a whole bunch of different variations on my images. Sometimes it might be that I sell prints and I sell 8x10s, but then I also sell panoramic size and other things, and so I need them cropped differently for different purposes, so I can have all those kinds of virtual copies to do it. I created the virtual copy by right-clicking on any image. That brought up a menu, and I chose Create Virtual Copy. You should also find it, I believe, under the Photo menu. Do you see it in there? Yeah, Create Virtual Copy. But I'm simply used to doing it by right-clicking.
Do you, as a matter of practice with your workflow, then always create virtual copies for different, let's say, screen or web versus some book or poster, etc.?
If they're going to be in different proportions, for the web I need it to be square, and for a book I need it to fit an 8.5 by 11, therefore it's got different proportions, then yes. If, on the other hand, I want the same proportions, width to height proportions, or aspect ratio you could say, and I simply need some to be larger, some to be smaller, then I wouldn't need to. I could instead do it when I'm exporting the images. Because the moment you export, which we're going to cover later today, you can specify the size. And so it's if the aspect ratio, the proportions change.
So in general, you don't find that you need to make adjustments aside from aspect ratio for different target media?
Not typically. At least not with virtual copies. Yeah.
Ben?
Yes?
A question from Hunky Pug. Are the snapshots saved in the XMP?
I believe they are, and they would be saved for that specific image. Snapshots are attached to a particular image. You'll never see that snapshot on any other image because it's specific to it. So a snapshot is just like a preview, or not a preview, a preset, but it's specific to that image, and it includes all the settings applied. Yeah. But as far as I know, they're in the XMP. I'd have to, really go and look to be sure, but it makes sense that they'd be there.
Ready for a couple more questions about this? Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm not sure if you answered this, but a few people, including Susan Hall from Georgia, is a snapshot better than creating a virtual copy to work on?
I would say no in general. I would use a snapshot if I'm specifically in the Develop module and I want to experiment some more and I'm not sure if that's going to look better than what I have now. That's when I use a snapshot. A virtual copy is when I usually want two versions of the file. It's not that I'm going to experiment more and see if what I end up with is better than what I have now, but I literally want two versions. I want a square version and a horizontal version. I want color and black and white. I want just more than one version, because when you use snapshots, you still only see one picture when you see your thumbnails in the library. Just one picture, whatever your end result is. You can go back into